everyone. This is Chandrasekhar Pahimam, and I would like to come up with certain queries that students have as their 10th standard has their first board exams tomorrow, happening to be English. Well, there are four sections: reading, writing, literature, and grammar. We'll talk one by one. The complications that people have on a general basis, I'll talk about it at the end. So let's talk about reading quickly. Time that is to be given to this reading section should not exceed 30 to 35 minutes. You need to manage your reading skills should be in such a way. If you have not practiced, that's your part. 30 to 35 minutes in which your first 15 minutes of reading is to be included. Right. Okay. Then after writing section, you'll have two writing pieces. So individually you can give them 20 minutes each to improvise on them at their best. 20 minutes, 5 minutes of ingredient collection, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of writing, and then 5 minutes of uh, 5 minutes of revision is required. In the time of revision, you should check the punctuation marks, the capital letter usages. That's the place where people make mistakes. Talking about highlighting, in reading, don't highlight. In writing, highlight the headings. If in case you are writing an analytical paragraph and you have given a heading to it, give a heading, write a heading, underline the heading. Please do it. Makes the presentation look good. Then we move to grammar section. It has to be given time. With your peace of mind, check individual questions specifically. Each means you have to see each question very specifically. So here I would launch 30 seconds rule. So you try to stick to each question for at least 30 seconds. Read it twice at least so that you can get the vibe what it's talking about. Then we talk about literature. That again is writing. So if we talk about grammar, 10 questions, 20 minutes would be more than enough. So 35 minutes in reading, 40 minutes in writing, then 20 minutes in grammar. It makes 35 and 40 and 10 and 20. So 1 hour and 35 minutes. You are almost left with 1.5 hours and you have literature section in front of you. You can give ample amount of time to literature. Now coming to the format part, the letters that we have, the four types of letters we have. Basically, people tend to make mistake, they don't write the subject. You have to specifically highlight the subject rather. You need to be very sure that you are highlighting the subject. Punctuation marks. Please take care of punctuation marks and capital letters wherever you are starting something. It should not be told. It sounds silly. Howsoever, people make mistakes, so take care of that. Margin is an important part. So you should not be drawing any boxes when you are writing letters. I hopefully think so. So no boxes are to be drawn. Utilize the left hand side margin and write along the margin. Give proper gappings as per the requirement says, because everything we are doing it for presentation. Then we move to analytical paragraph. It should be one paragraph with a proper heading. People ask me questions like if in case we are doing an analytic, we have got an option of there are two questions given, which one should we take? There is a bar graph given and there is a paragraph given. Or if one question contains a data which has a table and the other question has a paragraph which is to be analyzed, which question is better? It's totally your perception. Whichever you feel better, I would go for a table or a data which is a bit more clearer to me. Okay, then we talk about certain more things like time management. We have talked about OMR sheets that you will be getting. So the moment you get into your exam hall, you will get the answer sheet to be filled. The first thing you will get is your answer sheet. Answer sheet is the first page would contain it would be divided into four. If you see the first page, one quarter would be some details and the 3/4 would be filled up with OMR sheet. So you on the top you have to write name, your name. You should write all in capital letters, and between two words you should leave one box gapping, and then corresponding letters should be highlighted. Then we have the roll number towards the right hand side. You have to write in the box roll number and highlight. Then you have school code and center code and these all things which would be present in your admit card. So before I forget, when you will go to your exam center, try to reach at 9:30 sharp with your admit card in a transparent cover, and keep your pens in along with. Don't take a black pen. If you won't take it, you won't use it. But keep some pencils with you that would help you highlight it. Okay. Then we talk about, so every detail that you will fill on the first page, very slowly, take your own time, because if you make mistake, you won't get another sheet, and you will cross and do stuff that would simply ruin your peace of mind. So be very specific, go slow and write everything carefully. Things to be taken along, like don't take a watch which is like a digital watch. You can keep a analytical, sorry, what do we say it? Analog clock. In simple language, clock with a dial which have minute hand and second hand. All right, don't take anything which disrupts your peace of mind. If in case anybody has any questions, you can pass me the comments. I mean, you can send me. Does it look so? No, not at all. I'm confirmed. I have a board, but anyway, talking about some more things, like if in case in a question which has an option with it, and you have to do the option question, you don't have to do the first question. Like it says number 1 A, there is a question, and then or, and then there is another question. You want to do the question which is after or, the second one. So when you are depicting that in your answer sheet, you need to like mention it, 1 or, and then you should start, so that the person who is checking would identify which one you have done. Okay. Some more. If you have queries, you give me the queries, I give you the solution. Time management will play a crucial role, because sitting without doing anything at the end of the exam for half an hour would be of no use. And once you have written the letters and you have written the answers, you would not like to cross off everything and write it again at the end half an hour. So it's better to utilize the time in the best of its way. According to me, it was 1 hour and 30 minutes given to literature. But you can manipulate the time according to your own usage, and it will be done. So if you utilize the first 15 minutes of the reading section along with the first 15 minutes of your actual exam time, that 30 minutes would be enough for your reading part. If in case everything goes wrong and you get a easy piece that you have to do, then it becomes very simple. Otherwise, if it is complicated, don't get bothered. You have ample amount of time. A lot of time you have. So don't panic. Just read it. I hope you all know what all reading techniques are. Like you should read the heading of the reading passage if given. That will give you an idea of what reading, what that piece is all about. And if in case if there is no heading given, you should read the first few lines, which will give you an idea of what that passage is all about, and then you go and read the questions. But while reading the question, make sure you are calm. You are understanding what are the questions so that they stay in your mind. So once they stay in your mind, you read them, take time 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and after reading the questions, then you go back to that passage and then you read that passage slowly. So our brain, a wonderful thing. The moment you will come to, when you are reading that passage, the moment you would come to an area where something, some clue is there of any one of the questions that you have read, your mind will ring a bell. The very moment you turn around, see the question, connect to it, identify, mark it, continue reading. That's how the first reading itself you'll get first 75% of the answers. If in case you don't, you read it again, you have a lot of time. So that is how reading. So first questions and then the reading part. 20 minutes to one reading, 20 into 40, mark time. 40 minutes in reading. We give half an hour to grammar. We are being extra cautious. We are taking 3 minutes for each question. We give it 4 minutes, man. We have a lot of time. Let's stick to 3 minutes. Later on, if in case we have a lot of time left, we'll engage 1 more minute in each. Alright. So 3 into 10. Now here, one more thing struck me just now. There are 12 questions given. At times it happens I know all 12 very well. Each one. I'm very much confident with each of the answers. Alright. These messages keep on coming. Okay. So I know all 12 of the answers, and my smartness makes me write all 12 of them. Maybe I am thinking that teacher will take the correct ones only, but it's not like that. When we check, we take the first 10 in a sequence and we just omit the last two. So that's how it is. So be very confident and do only 10 of those, and while doing them, be very confident in giving the numbers that you have, that you are giving. Right? So 30 minutes to grammar, 40 reading, 30 grammar. Let's move to writing section. Let's give half an hour to each one writing. That would be an exaggerated mode, but let's think about it. If for one reading, suppose it's a letter that you are writing, we take 5 minutes for ingredients. We'll think what we are going to write, we'll jot them down. Then we'll take 10 minutes to 15 minutes to write it. Maybe I write it with a pencil first, then I improvise on it and complete with a pen because I have a lot of time. 30 minutes for one writing. If I accumulate that 30 plus 30, 1 hour. So it exceeds. So let's make it 20 minutes each. So 40 again. 40, 40 and 30. 80 and 30, 110 minutes. Means 1 hour and 50 minutes are over. But still, see, we have more than an hour for literature section. And in literature section, we have 2 extracts coming first of 5 marks each. 2 extracts of 5 marks each, 10 minutes for each extract. And then 6 questions of 3 marks each. And then 2 questions of 6 marks each. Ample amount of time it's like, but again, think of how you write. I will come back to literature section at the end of my session, maybe after 5 minutes. Alright, then after, what else is left? Our checking pattern is very simple. We try to give you marks, but you are not trying to bring in. So I can feel people are messaging me. Okay, you get the question paper and you feel like which section to start. This could be one very, very strong question. Which section to start? It's totally your perception. I would be in your place, I would start with reading section, because I would utilize the first 15 minutes into reading itself. Try to complete at least one reading in that 15 minutes, so that the entire 3 hours belongs to me, and I have one reading section less to do, so I can manipulate time. But some students think they have learned literature. I hope literature is something not to be learned but to be expressed. All right, so you can take literature because everything is fresh. You have remembered the names of the writers and poets and stories, and you have remembered the themes and summaries and a variety of more things. In that case, you take literature, start with literature. But in case you are doing sections, um, if in case you are doing sections, different section, at first you should stick to the rule that everything in that section will come at one place. You may start with section C, start doing section C first, and then you do section B, then A, no problem. Uh, Last thing is how to write literature questions. Talking about the biggest one, the 16, 6 marks questions. See, when you have got a question, you are writing, you don't straight away write what you know, but try to garnish it with certain good sentences and good words. That's what we are looking for. How nicely you can impress that thing. I know. Suppose if we take a question, uh, talking about Matilda, suppose the necklace it was, suppose, whatsoever. Matilda, what kind of lady was she? Simple question. Why was Matilda unhappy always? Why was Matilda always unhappy? I know you know it, because she wanted to become rich. She was greedy. There are many instances which show that. Extracts are there. But then straight away you should not write it that she was, but rather try to think how you can relate that particular character which is in the question to the chapter which is in your book, and the writer who has written it with the with emphasizing the theme that the writer has tried to. If you can amalgamate all these four things in a sentence somehow and bring it in your answer, that's what we are looking for. So this is important. Try to mix always. It's not necessary that in every answer, some answers would not have that scope. It's totally like that. But if in case there is a specific character mentioned in a question, then you should relate that character to that story. You should bring it the name of the writer who has written, who has used that character to depict a particular thing in his story. If you can bring it that in your answer, that will bring the power in it. Obviously, we are looking for good grammars, so try to be intact. Make small sentences, keep tenses correct. Small punctuation errors that we do should not be there. Like, I should not be mentioning it, capital letters and stuff. We write the names of the poets and writers and stories and poems. We need to be sure we are writing with a capital letter. Each word will start with a capital letter, and we make mistakes here. So please concentrate. These are the small areas which can save you marks, and we are not looking at it. We are just mugging up things. We are reading stories, and no, the basic things are these. I would like to now finalize it. I suppose it was helpful to you. If in case you have more queries, you can further look for my more live videos which I would further come with. Shall I sign off now? How to sign off?